Owning something does not automatically make someone a leader. It gives them control, but control and leadership are not the same thing. Many landlords believe ownership alone should stabilize a property. They bought the building, they wrote the lease, they set the rules. So, in their mind, the structure should naturally hold. But tenants are not responding to ownership, they're responding to leadership. And leadership inside a property shows up in very specific ways: clarity, consistency, and predictability. Without those things, ownership becomes something else: a title, not a system. You can see this play out in real time inside of many properties. A tenant asks a question: what happens if rent is late this month? The lease might already answer that question, but the tenant is not testing the lease. They're testing the leadership behind it. They want to see what actually happens when pressure appears. Does the system respond clearly, or does the conversation drift? If the response is uncertain, the system just revealed something. Ownership exists, leadership might not. Tenants read that difference very quickly, not because they're trying to cause problems, because they're trying to understand the system they're now living in. Leadership makes environments predictable. People know what happens when things go right. They know what happens when things go wrong. There is very little confusion. Without leadership, every decision becomes situational. One tenant gets one outcome, another tenant gets something different. A conversation replaces a standard, and at that point, the property starts running on emotion instead of structure. And emotion is unpredictable. Tenants feel that unpredictability. When outcomes change depending on the moment, the system becomes negotiable. And once the system becomes negotiable, stability disappears. This is why two landlords can own similar properties and experience completely different realities. One property feels calm, the other feels like a constant work. The difference is rarely ownership, the difference is leadership. Leadership inside a property is not loud, it does not rely on confrontation, it does not rely on authority alone. It relies on clarity and consistency. When people know exactly how the system behaves, behavior stabilizes. When people are unsure, behavior experiments. Tenants are not responding to the title of landlord, they're responding to the system behind it. Ownership creates responsibility, leadership creates stability. Owning the property does not automatically stabilize it, leadership does.